Hello everyone. Today, let's learn about the composition and drainage of a flat roof together. This building covers what we learned in the previous section. Sloping roof, flat roof, and curved roof. The basic components of a flat roof include a ceiling layer, a structural layer, and a roof layer. Firstly, let's understand the composition of a flat roof. Ceiling layer can be directly painted or made into a suspended ceiling to form a suspended ceiling. Structural layer, usually using reinforced concrete structure. Additional layer, not a basic component of a flat roof, including insulation layer or thermal insulation layer. Roof layer, it is a key layer for roof waterproofing and drainage, also known as the roof waterproofing layer. Due to the small slope of the flat roof, the drainage of the roof is relatively slow, so the flat roof adopts a combination of prevention as the main approach and drainage as the auxiliary approach, combining prevention and drainage. After understanding the composition of the roof, let's move on to the drainage of a flat roof, which is supplemented by drainage. Drainage, also known as drainage, means guiding and discharging rainwater. Drainage methods for flat roofs can be divided into two types: unorganized drainage and organized drainage. Let's first understand the first drainage method, unorganized drainage. Unorganized drainage, also known as free fall, is a drainage method in which the roof overhangs the outer wall, forming eaves, and rainwater can freely drip from the eaves onto the outdoor ground. Unorganized drainage, simple structure, low cost, and less prone to leakage and blockage. However, when the building height is high and there is heavy rainfall, the eaves of the eaves will form a water curtain, causing rainwater to splash around and wet the walls, erode and pollute the walls, harm the walls, and affect the environment. Therefore, unorganized drainage methods are only suitable for areas with low rainfall and low-rise secondary buildings. From the picture, we can see this is a slope where rainwater flows through the roof, reaching its highest point at the dividing line and flowing down from high to low. Let's take a look at these four pictures again. The first picture shows a flat roof with three parapets and the eaves on the other side, with only one drainage slope. Rainwater is discharged from the parapet to the eaves, according to the drainage slope, and finally drips freely to the outdoor ground. In the second picture, there are parapets on both sides horizontally, and eaves on both sides vertically. There are two drainage slopes, and the junction of the two drainage slopes, in opposite directions, is called the watershed, which disperses rainwater in two opposite directions. According to the drainage slope, rainwater is discharged from the drainage line to the eaves, and finally freely drips onto the outdoor ground. In the third picture, there is only one side of the parapet wall horizontally, and the other direction is the eaves. We can see three drainage slopes and three dividing lines. According to the drainage slope, rainwater is discharged from the dividing line to the eaves, and finally freely drips onto the outdoor ground. The fourth picture shows a cantilevered flat roof, with eaves on all sides, four drainage slopes, and five dividing lines. Rainwater is discharged from the dividing lines to the eaves, according to the drainage slope, and finally freely drips onto the outdoor ground. Organized drainage. Let's learn about the second type of drainage, organized drainage. Organized drainage, also known as gutter drainage. Install a vertical gutter on the roof that is perpendicular to the drainage direction of the roof. Collect rainwater through rainwater outlets and pipes, and systematically discharge it into outdoor ground or indoor underground drainage networks. The roof structure with organized drainage is complex and expensive, but it avoids the erosion and pollution of walls and floors caused by rainwater falling freely. According to the location of rainwater pipes, they can be divided into external drainage, rainwater pipes located outdoors, and internal drainage, rainwater pipes located indoors. The following external drainage methods can be used in organized drainage. The first type of drainage outside the eaves ditch, outside the wall perpendicular to the drainage direction. Set up a drainage eaves ditch suspended through the highest point of the roof, the position of the roof watershed line, and guide rainwater from the roof watershed line to the eaves ditch. The drainage slope is platted in the eaves ditch, and the rainwater outlet is set at the lowest point of the eaves ditch to guide rainwater into the rainwater outlet, which then falls down through the rainwater pipe. By using the roof watershed line, rainwater is directed into the inner side of the parapet wall. Roof watershed line. An inner eave gutter or a slope pad is set up on the inner side of the parapet wall. Using the slope pad method in this picture, a hole is reserved at the lowest slope of the parapet wall. At the position of the parapet wall hole, a bent rainwater pipe is set up to pass through the parapet wall and guide rainwater into the rainwater pipe to fall. The third type, drainage outside the eaves gutter parapet wall. The combination of the first two methods is often used in water storage roofs, where the parapet wall is used as the storage compartment wall, and the eaves ditch can collect excess rainwater overflowing from the reservoir. External drainage is suitable for civil buildings and areas with collapsible OEs. The following internal drainage methods can be used in organized drainage. The first type of drainage in the middle gutter. When the width of the house is large, a longitudinal gutter can be set up in the middle of the house to form internal drainage, which guides rainwater into the gutter. The gutter is platted with a drainage slope, and the rainwater outlet is set at the lowest point of the gutter to guide rainwater into the rainwater outlet, which is then discharged into the underground drainage system through indoor rainwater pipes. The second type of high and low span internal drainage. At the intersection of high and low spans in the house, a gutter is set up to create a drainage slope. A rainwater outlet is installed at the lowest point of the gutter to collect rainwater into the rainwater pipe, which is then discharged into the underground drainage system. The third type, internal drainage on the inner side of the exterior wall. Roof watershed line. Rainwater is introduced into the inner side of the exterior wall. Roof watershed line. And the slope is made on the inner side of the exterior wall. The rainwater flows from the highest roof watershed line on the inner side of the exterior wall into the lowest rainwater outlet, then falls through the indoor rainwater pipe, and finally flows into the underground drainage system. Internal drainage is suitable for multi-span large buildings, high-rise buildings, and cold regions. Our section on the composition and drainage of flat roofs is over. Thank you.